We all remember The Matrix as the peak of 90s cyberpunk action. The trench coats, the shades, and the dawn of Y2K. But if you sit down and watch it today, in an era where AI is really starting to do the heavy lifting, it doesn't really feel like sci-fi anymore. And beneath the iconic bullet time and the black leather, there is a psychological flip happening right in front of our eyes that I think most people completely miss. Today, we're jacking back in because the craziest part of The Matrix isn't the simulation. It's the terrifying realization that the heroes of this movie act exactly like machines, and the villains are the only ones acting human. We're breaking down the traitor who actually may have made the right choice and the robot who had a very human mental breakdown. Take that red pill and find out how deep the rabbit hole goes. Now, to understand the villains of this movie, I think we have to take a look at what's actually happening to the heroes, because there is a massive shift taking place that the movie doesn't really draw attention to. Let's look at Neo. In the beginning of the movie, as Thomas Anderson, he is incredibly human. He is terrified, he flinches when the agents interrogate him, he screams when the bug goes into his stomach, he throws up understandably when he gets unplugged and reality hits him. He is driven by fear, confusion, and I'd say curiosity. But as the movie progresses, he doesn't really become a better human, he becomes a better machine. He stops asking questions and starts just accepting data. He literally downloads martial arts straight into his brain like it's a software update. And by the end of the film, he stops seeing the physical Matrix world and only sees the green code. And he's not fighting with human passion anymore. It's more like he's editing the code of the simulation in real time. And it's not just him. Trinity operates with this cold, hyper-disciplined efficiency like a weapon. She rarely smiles and she rarely breaks focus. Morpheus is a stoic zealot, driven by an algorithmic-like faith in a prophecy. Everything they do is calculated, and they seem detached. They are, for all intents and purposes, behaving like software programs executing a script. And then, there's Agent Smith. Now, on the surface, he seems calm and ready, and he's supposed to be a piece of software. Smith is like an antivirus program designed by the machines to clean up glitches and maintain order in the Matrix. But beneath that sharp suit, he is boiling over with primal, unhinged human rage. Let's take a look at the interrogation of Morpheus. It's not just the best scene in the movie and my personal favorite. In my opinion, it's one of the best villain monologues in movie history. And there's this brilliant but subtle detail right before the monologue begins.
Leave me with him.
And the other agents kind of hesitate.
No.
They look at each other and they're probably thinking, why? Because programs don't need privacy. Programs don't have secrets. And once they leave, there's this terrifying moment when Smith physically removes his earpiece and takes off his sunglasses. He is effectively disconnecting himself so he can go off the record.
I hate this place. It's the smell, if there is such a thing. I feel saturated by it. I can taste your stink. And every time I do, I fear that I've somehow been infected by it. It's repulsive.
Hugo Weaving's delivery, it's an absolute masterclass. Absolute cinema. Just look at his face. Listen to his voice. Look at how he is gripping Morpheus's head. He is experiencing profound disgust and pure, unfiltered hatred. These aren't lines of code. These are human emotions. He's a program. He shouldn't be able to smell anything, but he's having a psychological breakdown. And I think if you want the ultimate proof that Smith has completely broken his programming, look at what happens the exact second the other two agents walk back into the room.
What were you doing?
The fact that they have to ask him means that they kind of question his actions because they're not normal. In his desperate need to escape the Matrix, became the very thing he despises. Emotional, irrational, and pretty human. He doesn't want to just destroy Zion because the mainframe is telling him to do it. He wants to destroy it for himself so he can finally leave. Compared to the emotionless, bullet-stopping Neo, Agent Smith, by the end of this movie, is the one who feels genuinely, terrifyingly alive. Now, real quick, if you miss this era of pop culture as much as I do, please take a second to hit that subscribe button.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
We're going to be going back and experiencing the 2000s pop culture that the millennials lived through, and maybe some of you Gen Z may have missed. And I'd love to have you along for the ride. Everything always comes back to the red pill and the blue pill. Watching this as an adult who's actually had to deal with the stress, the bills, the crushing weight of the real world, this choice hits me way differently. Morpheus presents these pills to Neo like it's a profound, equal choice. But let's be real, it's an absolute illusion of choice. Morpheus kind of fails to mention the fine print. He doesn't tell Neo that the rabbit hole that he's leading him down leads to a freezing cold, sunless sewer. He doesn't mention that you'll wear rags, you'll never feel the sun on your skin again, and you'll be in constant fear for your life from giant metal squids. And you'll be eating a bowl of runny, tasteless snot for every meal. There's this great scene with one of the characters who's called Mouse, wondering if the machines couldn't figure out what tasty wheat tasted like, so they kind of just made it taste like oatmeal. It proves a pretty massive, depressing point. Everyone on that ship is thinking about how food tastes in the Matrix. They kind of miss the comforts of the simulation because they're eating slop in the real world, but when they jack into the Matrix, I'm sure if they want a tasty burger, they can get one and it will taste amazing. And they're probably completely miserable on that ship. They are fighting a war they have almost zero chance of winning, and their daily existence is pure suffering. And because of that, I finally understand Cypher. Cypher isn't just your standard movie traitor. He represents that terrifying, unavoidable reality of human nature. When he sits in that restaurant with Agent Smith, he knows the Matrix is fake. He knows that that juicy steak he's cutting into doesn't exist. He knows his brain is being fed electrical signals by a machine, but he takes a bite and says,
"Ignorance is bliss."
We sit here on our couches with our snacks and judge him. But think about it. Would we really want a reality that is brutal, harsh, and miserable? Or would you rather have a beautiful, comfortable dream that you cannot distinguish from reality? There's that moment right before Cypher pulls the plug on one of his crewmates, where he's talking to Trinity's unconscious body.
I'm tired of this war. Tired of fighting. I'm tired of this ship being cold, of eating the same goddamn goop every day.
That isn't the dialogue of an evil mastermind. That is the dialogue of a broken, exhausted human who just wants to go to sleep and not wake up in a nightmare anymore. Cypher is weak, sure. He's selfish, and he's a coward who kills his friends. But out of everyone on that ship, his intense desire for a warm meal, a comfortable bed, and a life without constant anxiety makes him the most undeniable human character in the entire movie. The heroes completely gave up their humanity to fight for the cold, hard truth. Cypher sold out the truth to get his humanity back. Philosophy aside, this movie is still just fucking peak.
Dodge this.
The Matrix lured us in with the coolest aesthetic of the decade and completely redefined how action movies were shot. But its true legacy is that it quietly planted philosophical time bombs in our head that we are still trying to defuse decades later. Now please be sure not to dodge the subscribe button or the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.